Hi, this is Danny. Today I'd like to introduce a new raw chocolate recipe. As a fitness instructor, I'm very aware of how foods affect our performance. Now, to get the best results in the gym or running or any kind of sport, it really comes down to having good fuels, good foods in our body. One of the key foods that we all need to cut down on to help our fitness and our overall health is sugar. Carbohydrates in general, but particularly sugar. So all of my recipes focus on how low can we get the sugar and what are other alternatives to sugar. Most of the health bars out there you'll see, the flapjacks, the raw bars, the raw chocolate bars, actually have lots of sugar in, lots of fruit sugar. You'll get a raw bar may have 50% dates and 20% raisins and then 5% apple, and it's just a bit of cocoa and a bit of coconut oil in there. But it's mostly sugar, whether it be fruit sugar or table sugar. Too much. So there's a product out there called Lohan Goo. This is 300 times sweeter than sugar. It's not going to spike your insulin, so it doesn't have that damaging effect on our health. So in the recipe you'll see 4 layers, a dark chocolate layer, a cookie layer that has the Lohan Goo added, a toffee sauce, and then more chocolate. It's delicious and it's nutritious. I encourage you to give it a go. So to begin, we're going to start with melting the chocolate and the coconut oil. I've got a little chocolatier melting pot here. You could use a saucepan or a frying pan on top of your stove. Just keep it to a very, very low heat and keep moving it. So we've got the cacao butter, which is solid at room temperature, but soon melts when we add a little heat. Now I'm going to be putting a PDF below the video with the exact ingredients. This has, got my cheat sheet here, this has 50 grams of cacao butter. If you grate it or chop it finely, it does melt a bit easier. Here's 40 grams of coconut oil going in as well. These all melt together. Turn this on. Okay, so here we have the fully melted cacao butter and coconut oil. I'm going to take the cacao powder here. So here is the cacao butter, coconut oil, and also the coconut palm sugar. Had we not have used the coconut oil and would have used extra cacao butter instead, this would have been an 85% chocolate coating. So I'm just gently mixing this in. Okay, so this is getting nicely stirred in here. I forgot to mention that I had sieved the cacao powder and the coconut palm sugar to get out any lumps and crystally bits. Okay, so this is ready to pour into the molds. Now this mixture makes 8 of these heart-shaped molds, or 4 of these larger rectangular molds. You could make 20 minis. You can get these from kitchen shops and supermarkets and on the internet. Okay, so really good idea when you're moving chocolate that's going to be sloshing around is to have a book underneath. So I'm going to take about a tablespoon of the warm chocolate mix here and just place a dollop in the bottom of each of these silicone molds. Okay, so there we have 8 little chocolate base layers. I'm going to pop this in the freezer now for about 5 minutes. Okay, so while the chocolate is in the freezer there, I'm it'll be fine in the fridge. It will even harden at room temperature, but it's just a little quicker in the freezer. So the middle layer, the cookie layer, this is not dissimilar, this end product, to a Mars bar. And the mixture of the shelled hemp seeds, very nutritious, and the cashew butter, very delicious, and the larger of the sections of coconut oil going in there. Again, the exact amounts will be on the PDF beneath. Now this is the 80 grams, slightly larger one here, of the date paste. Now date paste is blended dates and water. That's it. 75% dates, 25% water. Okay, so this is nicely integrated now. Going to add the main event, our sweetener, Lohan Gu, 300 times sweeter than sugar, so a half teaspoon. So give that a nice stir. Okay, so return from the freezer, the chocolate base. I'm going to take about a tablespoon, just a dollop of this cookie mix, and place it on top of each of these molds. Okay, so here's the layer, the cookie layer, which is fairly flat as best I can. Need to allow a bit of room at the top for the toffee sauce and then for the chocolate layer. So there's a good ½ inch or so at the top there. Pop this back in the freezer. Okay, so for the toffee sauce layer, got 70 grams of date paste here. Remember, a quarter of that is water. I've got the last of the coconut oils here. That's 30 grams. And the broken pieces of cashew, 50 grams. So this is going to end up a bit like the toffee layer of a Mars bar, but with cashews added, but without any sugar or butter. If you like Snickers, then you could take out the coconut oil, add peanut butter, and some broken peanuts, or crunchy peanut butter. And then your layer would be more like that of a Snickers bar. Okay, so I'm taking a small dollop of toffee sauce. Doesn't need too much. Perhaps ½ tablespoon, just to smear onto the top. Okay, so here we are, the finished article. These are pretty big. If you are hungry, you probably could make your way through one of these, but I think splitting them in half and sharing more out would be quite appropriate. Okay, so thank you for watching. Here's a recipe. Takes a bit of time. Perhaps make it at the weekend. Order some Lohan Gu, order some shelled hemp seeds, get some coconut oil, get some raw chocolate. Take a bit of time to collect these ingredients and try this recipe out. It's delicious and it's healthy. Okay, thanks for listening and see you soon. Bye now.